All right, welcome to another episode of Cubfidential. I'm your producer, Denzel Snipes. And yeah, as it says in the title, it's been another down week for the Cubs. Got two wins out of it, though, but somehow the Cubs are hanging on to second place despite, I think this is two out of the last 10 that they've dropped now, maybe even more. But we have a loaded show for you all. And without further ado, let's go ahead and bring in our host. He was out last week, so give a welcome back to JB Ellis. Here he is.
What's going on, people? Got a great show for you tonight. We're going to start out with Jason, talk a little of the crosstown rival series against the laughable White Sox. Finally, a team that we can beat without a problem. That's bad. Then we'll talk a little Cincinnati, who's all of a sudden the best team in the world whenever they play the Cubs. And we'll probably get to talk a little Tampa Bay and our closer blowing another game because that's what we do time and time again. So let's bring Jason on. Let's start without any further ado.
What's up, JB?
What's going on? How you doing tonight?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
Doing good. So let's talk about the crosstown rival series. White Sox had leads in both games, and all of a sudden the Cubs they played baseball and they came back and they were hitting and timely pitching when they needed to. What happened?
Oh, the bats came alive for sure. Hap went 3 for 4. Morel was 2 for 4. Talkman hits the walk-off home run. So uh, it's good to have the Cubs beat the Sox, so we don't have to hear crap about how we're worse than the Sox.
Oh, the Sox are horrible. I mean,
Yeah.
if we didn't beat them, I think it'd be time to just blow up this team.
Yeah.
They're right now they're still in contention for a wild card. As bad as we've played, we're still got the third wild card spot. Right now they're playing Tampa, who's a decent team. But those two big ones against the crosstown rivals. Everyone always gets up for rivalry games. Tell me what it's like when the two teams square off.
I've seen some doozies over the years, man. I've seen fights. I've seen it's just crazy, man. It's just the trash talk between uh, each other's fan base is just insane to me. So I've seen some bad incidents at Cubs games and Sox games. At Comiskey, I'll call it. And at Wrigley.
Yeah,
So
I mean the fact that they had a win late in the games and come back, is this concerning that they had so much trouble with such a bad team?
yeah, it's really concerning. It's the whole team is concerning. I think what they're uh, 15-26 since April 27th, and they have that's the worst record in the National League. It's just bad. It's not been good at all.
Yeah, it's been pretty ugly. Let's move on to the Cincinnati series, 4 game series in Great America. The Cubs drop 3 out of 4. They win a 4-2 game on Haps, 3 runs. Imanaga goes to 6-1. Why do the Reds have our number?
I think everybody's got our number lately. Um, just the Reds. I think they're just a young and up and coming team. Same thing with the Pirates. I really believe that. And the Cubs are it's just an average team right now. They can't put anything together, and it's just a struggle in all facets of the game right now.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So, what did you see in the Cincinnati series that stood out to you?
Well, I mean, Suzuki went 2 for 4 in the first game. He had a home run and two RBIs and a double, so he's coming alive lately. I believe he hit a home run tonight against the Rays. So, um, but yeah, I like what he's doing lately.
Okay. What about the pitching in that series? What did you see out of the starters and the bullpen?
I mean, well, not out of the bullpen, but Steele pitched a good game. He went like 7 innings, 5 hits. He had 7 Ks and only 1 earned run. And of course, leave it to the bullpen to blow it all up.
Yeah, it's been a major problem. I'm sure Bodkins is going to go crazy once he gets his ass here. Bodkins, I see you. I see you down there. Don't worry. You'll have your time. You're going to bring the energy tonight. I'm not feeling too well, so it's all on you to bring the energy in. Something tells me you don't have any problem bringing that energy, so I'm not worried. I'm not worried. So, Suzuki, yeah, you brought it up. He's starting to hit again. What do you see that has changed for him?
I don't know. Like the home run tonight, he kind of, I think he hit it off a curveball, and he kind of like he was lifting his leg up, and he kind of planted it, and then he just hit it over the center field wall,
Right.
But I did see tonight that they were saying that he's got, like, as far as getting called out on strikes, he's one of the top 2 players that have been called out on strikes on bad calls, and he doesn't really say anything. He's respectful, so
Yeah.
they brought up a good point. Maybe he needs to complain a little bit better to get some better calls. But tonight's umpire just absolutely trash. He stinks, man. Some of the calls on there are just horrible.
Let's talk about last night. The Cubs go into the ninth inning up 2-1, and the wheels fall off yet again. Tampa Bay wins 5-2 on Lowe's walk-off 3-run homer. I mean, this not being able to close out games, you're not going to go anywhere with this. What did you notice last night?
I'll tell you what, man. I really loved PCA's energy in that game, man. It's kind of like, it kind of pissed me off, man, because it went to waste. He had that ground ball, infield ground ball, and he was safe at first, and then he goes, they tossed it, and he went to second, and then fly ball, and he tags up on second, goes to third, and it's 1 out, and He couldn't get him across the plate, and I'm like, it's unbelievable to me,
It's bad baseball. Bad baseball. Runner on third with 1 out. You got to get him in.
Yeah, absolutely. Do anything. I mean, there was, tonight's game in Tampa Bay. Assad gave up the walk. Guy steals a base. Next guy comes up, hits a single, scores a run. That's how, to me, that's how baseball's supposed to be played. Advance the runner any way you can.
Small ball.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you win games. I mean, home runs are fun, but you don't always win with home runs because you don't always hit them.
Yeah, and you can't rely on the home run ball. You got to produce some other way, man.
I agree completely. Anything else you noticed with those 3 series?
Like I said before, the Cubs are struggling right now. They're just an average team. I know Council tried to put Morel into a leadoff spot tonight. I personally don't like it. If he's going to hit home runs all the time, then that's great. Put somebody in front of him to get on base, so when he does hit a home run, it's not a 1-run home run. Make it a 2-run homer or a 3-run homer. But of course, you got to get guys on base in front of him to be able to produce.
The table setters.
Yes, absolutely.
That's where baseball's so different now. You have guys that are hitting 180, 190, 200, and they start every day. Get $1 million contracts.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Bodkins can hit 230 right now in the major leagues. He'd be better than most guys' batting average.
He'd be better than Gomes than Amaya.
Yeah. All right, Jay. Well, I appreciate your time, man. We'll see you next week. Definitely, let's hope we can turn it around to get some wins on the board.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's bring in Bodkins. Bodkins.
Dear Heavenly Father, we have all gathered here today to rest the season that was the 2024 Chicago Cubs. May they rest in peace as a dog crap, bullpen, hot flaming garbage team that let us down once again.
Wow, what are you trying to say? Explain.
I'm saying this team stinks, JB. I'm saying it's over. I'm saying they stink. We've been the worst. There's only one team worse than us in the last month, and that's the White Sox. And people were celebrating that we're beating the White Sox. They're the White Sox. They're literally the worst team in baseball, and we have to come back and beat them twice. This is the Cubs starting pitchers. They put up a stat last night, JB, in the game. 17 times their starters left the mound with allowing 0 runs. That's the most in baseball. That's the best in baseball. We probably lost all 17 of those games.
Wow. Bet the Cubs on the 5-inning line. That's what that's telling me. You'd make a lot of money with that.
Jed Hoyer, I mean, you switch the manager, it might be time for Jed to say goodbye.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Let's talk about this Cubs for you. So Imanaga, 6 2/3, 2 earned runs, a walk, 7 Ks, got his 6th win. He had back-to-back bad starts. So, what do you think changed that he came back and was back to his more dominant self?
Yeah, I mean, he did what he was supposed to. Like, I think those were just 2 bad starts. I don't want to say like he did anything differently. He just got back to the basics. I think really the first outing we talked about it. He had a long layoff, and that I think that kind of hurt him and hurt his momentum a little bit. He's been the lone bright spot in this whole season so far. You know what I mean? Like you could say he's definitely our team MVP, and he's putting up Cy Young type numbers, but probably won't get the recognition he deserves if this team continues to stink like it is.
How many wins do you think he could have by the All-Star break?
Well, I don't know. Can he go complete game every time out? Because he'd have a lot more if it wasn't for our bullpen. Wow. So he's got 6 right now. We're a month away from the All-Star break. You're thinking, well, he'd be lucky to have 10, close to 10. He should have 10 if it wasn't for our bullpen. But I'm going to say, I'm going to say 9 or 10. Yeah, 9 or 10.
Okay. All right, let's go outside.
Again, who knows with this bullpen pitching?
Oh, it's horrible. Let's go outside of Wrigley. So the Dodgers, after playing the Yankees, obliterate the Rangers 15-2 on June 11th. They had 4 home runs in the 6th inning. The Rangers are now 31-35 of the season. Was 2023 a fluke season for Texas?
I mean, you won the World Series, so is it a fluke when you win the whole damn thing?
They're frauds.
You're not a fraud when you win the thing. You had one good season. Now, I'll take the Rangers. You could say the same thing about the Cubs. We had 2016, and we ain't done shit since.
Yeah, good point. But I think that the Rangers don't intimidate me. I don't know.
I mean, they got hot. They won the whole thing last year, so I'm not going to say they was a fluke season or a fraud. I mean, they're the Florida Marlins. You know what I mean? Right. How many times they've done it twice like that? You're not a fluke when you win the whole thing. It'd have been different if they made the playoffs and then they or made the ALCS but they won the whole thing. So it's hard for me to say that they're a fluke. Are they not as good as they were last year? I don't know, but at this time last year nobody was counting saying the Rangers either. So you know what I mean? We still got a long way to go.
It's still early in the year. Who knows? Maybe the Cubs bullpen will wake up.
Well, I mean, we're signing every guy off the scrap heap that we can get. I mean, they signed Lopez today from the Mets, and he thought he was on the worst baseball team. Well, welcome to Chicago, guy, where the whole city stinks at baseball.
All right, let's look at the Hot Cub time machine. April 21st, 2016, Jake Arrieta, 6 Ks, 119 pitches to a 16-0 win against Cincinnati in the 15th no-hitter in Cubs history. And he had one less than a year before that in August. So first of all, it was against Cincinnati, so that already shocks me because lately we can't touch Cincinnati. But
well, I mean, Jason said we're an average team, we're a below average team, and he was right. Everybody's beating us up, so there's that.
Yeah. So what do you think about Arrieta? What do you remember about that?
From 2015 for about second half of 2015 to about that no hitter, the second half of 2016. He was the best pitcher in all of baseball. I mean, he might have been that outings from 2015 to 2016. He was untouchable. And then after that, he was a little shaky, and then his career just was never really the same. But I mean, he was the dude. You knew going into the mound from 2015 to 2016 that Jake Arrieta was just going to dominate everybody. He had two no hitters in less than 6 months like that. Is insane. He was the dude. I used to play the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly theme song every time he pitched because that's what it reminded me of. Just had the good beard going and everything.
All right. So last thing before we go, real quick, tell everyone where they can find your shows.
Yeah, find me right here on the Bodkins Show. We talk a lot of. I talk obviously the Cubs, everything. We got a UFC show here kicking off in about 8 at the top of the hour, 8 o'clock. So, we got a Cub or Dud too. So,
Yes.
real quick.
Oh, tell everyone about your show real quick.
Yeah. So Head Kicks and Haymakers kicking out at 8 o'clock at night. 8 o'clock here. We'll be talking all things UFC.
Awesome. All right, so let's bring Jason back on, and I want you two to discuss real quick our Cub or Dud. So, who needs to go at the trade deadline? I want to hear both your thoughts.
Go ahead, Jason. I'll let you go first.
The whole bullpen. But who's going to take them?
Exactly.
Iowa.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't even think we would have anybody to trade to get anything decent in return.
Well, the guy you mentioned that's playing hot, you could trade. It just depends on the organization, what they want to do. Like last year, it was like this. We started hot, ended real bad, then we got hot again, and they decided to kind of buy at the deadline, stay pat instead of blowing this thing up. If we don't turn this thing around, and I think you could see, I would trade Suzuki. I would trade not Amaya, but the other catcher. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Gomes. Trade Gomes. Kyle Hendricks. I don't know if anybody wants him, but somebody. I mean, we just took up two reclamation projects, so I'm sure the Dodgers got Kevin Biggio, and he's batted about 210 his whole entire career. So I'm sure maybe somebody will believe in Kyle Hendricks one more time. You trade him. You trade Neres. Maybe somebody can figure him out as well. You just bring up all these kids that are doing well in the minors, and you say, hey guys, this is it. Like this is your time, but. That's what I would do. I would look at trading maybe even Ian Happ. It's just what you can get for him.
So you'd be okay with almost anybody. Be a god.
I think the guys you don't trade is obviously you're not going to trade Cody Bellinger. You're not going to you can't trade Dan Swanson. You're not going to trade Nico. You're not going to trade PCA.
What about Morel?
I've read rumors that Morale could be in a Vlad Guerrero type, and they for some reason the organization's not high on him. They're looking at trying to make a change at third base. I've read that Morale could be in a Vlad trade, or I don't want Pete Alonso. I think he's a free agent at the end of the year anyway, so it'd only be a rental. So we'd have to be like in real contention. But yeah, I could see Morale being traded. Not that I would really want to, but I could definitely see him being gone.
What about you, Jay? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've read the same thing as far as like Morel for Guerrero and swapping, but it
was like Morel and a bunch of other guys, but I don't.
Yeah, like Morel and like I think two prospects that are down on the farm system. So
that Canero kid on the farm's doing really well, and they're pretty high on him right now. So maybe you trade, like I said, you trade Suzuki and you bring him up. They play the same position.
Yeah, and I agree with Bodkins. You got to get, if what we have is on the field is not producing, like bring up the kids, man, and give them a shot. See what they can do before you.
If we're gonna be bad, you might as well be bad and have a bunch of kids playing.
Yep. Yeah, see what they can do, and if they don't produce, then you go the other route. So
make moves. I agree.
Yeah.
You just it gives the kids some experience. You know what I mean? Like, hey, and you get a good look at them, and maybe this year's a wash, and you look at next year.
Yeah. No, I agree completely. Well, guys, thanks so much for stopping in tonight. This has been another episode of Cubfidential. Next week, hopefully, I'll feel much better. But until then, we got Bodkins, we got Jason, got Denzel behind the scenes doing all the important stuff, making those batters look pretty. He does such a good job, doesn't he? Don't they look so pretty? All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Till then, don't forget to check out all the shows on the Sideline Sports Network.